Hey guys, I finally get to talk to you about a brand I discovered earlier this year during Paris Perfume Week. In fact, I fell in love with the brand so much that I actually shot a video of the brand with the brand owner during the show. So if you haven't caught my video with the founder of Hellenist, please go catch that video to learn a little bit more about the brand from the owner of the brand. But today I'm going to talk to you about the 4 fragrances in the collection that are out and available for purchase. As I said, I fell in love with the fragrances, really love them. In fact, I really love 3 of them. 2 of them are so good. And I want you guys to know about this house because they are now selling. They're selling at ZGO Perfumery, Lucky Scent, California stores, obviously. And then also we have them at Printemps, New York, and then Estelle in New York as well. So retailers are selling the brand, and you guys definitely need to check them out because, again, I fell in love with the fragrances. Really love 2 of them. Another one I really like as well. And then they're all good, but I'll rank the fragrances for you guys as well. So the fragrances are in French named, so I'm gonna butcher these probably. Alhambra de Artemis is this first one. I should show you the actual front. You can see the little bit on the side too. And then we've got my favorite, Le Bras de Morphee. We've got Le Chant de Aquile. And then finally, Le Dieux à Bains. This is so good. I couldn't believe I fell in love with this one. But what really caught my attention with the brand is this one, and it's my favorite of the house. But let's talk about, we're doing this in alphabetical order, so we're going to talk about Alhambra de Artemis first, and it comes in the green juice, beautiful green colored juice. This is created by Suzy Helley. I remember I did a video recently for Goldfield and Banks' Tales of Amber, same perfumer. In fact, she's done both of these, Alhambra de Artemis and Le Bras de Morphee. 2 really awesome fragrances. I guess I really like her fragrances all of a sudden. Those 2 are great, but I'm also really loving this one. So this is my second favorite. I'm telling you my ranking now. Of course, this is my favorite. So if you're interested in finding out more about these fragrances, check out the retailers I've mentioned. I've got links in the info box to both ZGO and Lucky Scent. And if you're in the New York area, you can go to Printemps, New York, and also Estelle, which I've never been to those 2 stores. So yeah, go check them out. But let's talk about Alhambra de Artemis, a 2024 launch created by Suzy Helley, featuring notes and accords of fig tree, blackcurrant, ambrette, bergamot, sandalwood, vetiver, oak moss, rose, and lily of the valley. So in the end, it's a very fresh, fig-focused fragrance. It's a bit fruity. It's got flowers in there, and it's got definitely woodiness in there as well. So it's a nice fusion of woods, fruitiness, and greenness together. Wears really gorgeously. For me, when I wear this one also, it acts a bit like tomato leaves. It's got that kind of a smell to it, and I feel like it's created from the black currant and the fig tree that's featured in here, taking it into a bit of a tomato leaf direction. And I personally really love tomato leaves in fragrances. It's a great green herbal bitter note. It's very fresh and invigorating in the hot weather in the summer. And I think if you are into green notes of fig leaves and tomato leaves and things like that, this is definitely one for you to try. And of course, there's a ton of fig fragrances out there, right? There's a lot of them out there. But once again, this acts a bit different than other fig fragrances. So for me, it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air to enjoy fig fragrances in a little bit of a unique way. The fact that it was actually smelling a bit like tomato leaves was great breath of fresh air, combining that bitterness of the tomato leaves with the bitterness of the fig leaves is really awesome. It's fig tree, they say, and it's an accord, but it smells like the leaves because I've as a kid, I've played around trees, fig trees so much, and of course I've smelled them as an older person as well. But really awesome fragrance. Let's quickly smell it as well. And let me tell you a little bit more about this. Yeah, it's a very fresh, and it's a very realistic smell of the fig leaves. Of course, it's the tree, they say. It's an accord. But on my skin, it also acts a bit like the tomato leaves. This gives me a sort of an idea, a little bit of a reminder of a Lambredon L'Eau from Diptyque. It becomes a bit tomato leaf and fig leaves and also fruits combination. But really nicely done fragrance. Really love it. I love the greenness of this. It smells great. In the heat, it really shines. in warm weather, I should say, it really shines. And again, it's a great smelling fig fragrance, and very green and earthy, woody, and fruity as well. And if you are looking for a new fig fragrance, definitely check this out. It's really, really great. This, I'm going to tell you, is my third favorite of the entire collection, and we're moving on to my favorite, Le Bras de Morphee, or Morphee, I should say. I think I've got to go and live in France to actually learn a little bit better French so I can pronounce these names more correctly. But I lied. I've got Le Chant d'Aquilée next, not Le Bras de Morphee, since we're doing this in alphabetical order. This is a 2024 launch. 3 of the fragrances are 2024 launches, and one of them is a 2025 launch. This is created by perfumer Alexandra Carlin. From what I remember speaking to the owner of the brand, the founder, he used to work for Symrise, and I believe he's used all Symrise perfumers. So I guess he learned about the perfumers and how they work and what kind of notes their strengths are, or what kind of fragrances their strengths are. So he's created some really great fragrances, and I kind of admire that, having the access to the actual perfumers themselves and getting to know them so that you can actually create really great smelling fragrances, which is why I fell in love with the brand. Unfortunately, this is my 4th favorite in the line, and I really normally love Orange Blossom and Neroli fragrances, but the other one stood out so much that this fell into the bottom of the list. But this is Le Chant d'Aquilée, a 2024 launch. Alexandra Carlin is the perfumer. We've got Orange Blossom, Neroli, Immortelle, Lemons, Musk, Vetiver, Black Pepper, Ylang Ylang, and Geranium. In the end, there are a lot of this type of fragrances out there. And also, if you're wondering what is this brand about, I think it's paying tribute to Greece. And I've asked the owner in the video, if you go catch that video, he's not Greek himself. He's just passionate about Greek and everything Greece. So he's created a brand inspired by everything about Greece, and that's kind of what these fragrances are. And I can see some of the ingredients he's using, like the orange blossom, the neroli, and then of course the fig fragrance that we just spoke about, all very Mediterranean ingredients. But yeah, I mean, this is not a bad fragrance. It's definitely a great take on the orange blossom and neroli. It's very citrusy. It's also very citrus floral. There are some spices that come in, but I kind of enjoy the other ones a little more. That's why I'm ranking it in the bottom. But you've got a great combination of an overdose of citrus flowers, and you've got citruses, musk, and woods coming in as well. Along the way, there are some spicy touches, and there's a bit of a creamy aspect about this as well. Maybe a slight bit tropical leaning, because you can totally notice the ylang ylang in here as well. But eventually it dries to a bit sweet, woody, grassy, and musky. Always with neroli and orange blossom in fragrances, you get a kind of a laundry effect cleanness, and that's what you get with this one too. It's very, very clean. In fact, it's soapy as well, and that's all I'm going to say about Le Chant d'Aquilée. I think the whole brand is really, really great. And definitely you guys need to try the fragrances, and I think you'll find some really great smells there. All right, now my favorite is Le Bras de Morphee. So this is the one that I fell in love with at Paris Perfume Week. I kept coming back to it, and after I really, really smelled it, you know, I love Dieux Homme Intense and Dieux Homme Parfum, that really gorgeous iris orris focused fragrance. I'm not saying this reminds me of that, but it acts like it because it's quite powdery. The orris iris note that's in here, they claim it's orris. It's prominent. It's buttery. It's a bit vegetal, but it's sweetened up enough that it's wearable, and it's not acting so vegetal like sometimes the orris butter can be. So once again, this is a Suzy La Helley fragrance. So she's created 2 for the brand so far, and it's a 2024 launch. And the notes and the chords on this one are orris, violets, violet leaves, hazelwood, heliotrope, cashmeran, tonka beans, vanilla, and peaches. So I had to look up hazelwood. Hazelwood is basically the wood that comes from the hazelnut tree. So is this nutty? I wouldn't say it's super nutty, but there might be some woody, nutty, touches in there, but it's not about that note. It's, for me, more about the orris. That's very, very prominent. The violets, also very, very prominent. And also the heliotrope, which is prominent in here. It's a fragrance full of powdery notes. Even the cashmeran that's in here goes powdery. So it's a super powdery experience. And you will notice the orris. It stands out. It is vegetal, but as I was saying, it's sweetened up enough that it doesn't act super raw vegetal, which sometimes some fragrances that feature a lot of orris comes off like carroty, powdery, orrisy, heavy, but minus the sweetness. But this to me has the sweetness, enough of it in here, and meshed with the violets, and then also freshened up with the violet leaves, because they do mention that there's both violets and violet leaves. And interesting, typically orris and violets do sometimes act makeup-y. I don't get much of a makeup-y effect with this one. I guess it is somewhat, but there's enough notes to change that perception. Like, it's not like Dieux Homme Intense acts a bit more like makeup than this fragrance does, but something that's done to this fragrance makes me not experience it like it's makeup-y, but it will remind me of the powderiness of Dieux Homme Intense. And I'm really becoming more and more obsessed with the iris orris note. Really nicely done here. Super awesome. The combo of the orris and violets together are heavenly, and there's just enough sweetness in here to, like I said, to tone down the vegetal qualities that the orris and orris provides. But I'm not saying there aren't any here, but it's toned down. You get both some sweetness and also some raw vegetal touches. But so good. Definitely an awesome release. A really great creation from Suzy Helley. So this is Le Bras de Morphee. I hope you guys get to try this one. It's my favorite of the bunch. I really love it. It smells great. And last but not least, it's my second favorite of the bunch, and I'm so surprised. I surprised myself by really enjoying this one. I'm caught off guard because there is a bit of a mineral-y, slight marine thing happening here, but oh my god, it smells good. This is Les Dieux au Bains, created by Pierre-Constantin Gueros. I really love, and this is also the type of fragrance that you think is not going to be long-lasting. This one lingers on, especially on clothes. It clings on, and I could smell myself and my clothes later with the perfume on. So it's a 2025 launch. This is the latest release, and definitely my number 2 favorite. It's featuring notes of juniper berries, eucalyptus, ambroxan, rosemary, lemons, patchouli, vetiver, water flowers, and flower pool. So I had to look up flower pool, and I can't find much about it. On the Hellenist website, there is a registered trademark next to the word flower pool. So I'm assuming it is a Symrise proprietary ingredient, since he did mention in person, and he might have mentioned it in the video as well, that he did work there and he uses Symrise perfumers, and Pierre-Constantin Gueros is a Symrise perfumer. So I'm assuming it's a proprietary ingredient. By the sound of it, watery, floral kind of note, flower pool. So it's some kind of a proprietary ingredient. This acts very watery for sure. It's almost like you're in this very clean, natural lake or pond or under a waterfall, and you can smell how the water smells and some vegetations around you, but it's also clean, crisp, fresh, sharp, uber awesome. But also minerally. I am getting quite a bit of minerally touches, and I think this is the part that scared me, because it sometimes minerally, seaweedy kind of notes does bother me, but with this fragrance, it doesn't. It is so good. The lemons are also very stand out, but it's nicely blended with all the clean notes. The prominent note in this is juniper berries. The juniper berries are so prominent. This is what's giving us the ice cold effect. The eucalyptus, it's got that kind of camphor greenness, but everything about it is so awesome, and it smells like a very clean pool of water, and all of the natural smells around it. It's really realistic smelling. So nicely done. Again, my second favorite is Les Dieux au Bains. I hope I'm doing good with my French. So let's go over the fragrances and the ranking. At number 4, Le Chant d'Aquilée. And again, there's nothing wrong with this fragrance. It's a really great fragrance. It's a great take on orange blossom, neroli, and that kind of style. It's very soapy and clean. But I like the other ones more, so I have to put it at number 4. Number 3, Alhambra d'Artemis, the fig fragrance. Very green, giving me tomato leaf vibes in addition to the green fig vibes. Also really great. Total Mediterranean in a bottle. Of course, I think the inspiration with the figs and Greece go hand in hand. Number 3, Les Dieux au Bains. Oh my god, it's so good. In fact, this is so good, it's almost competing with my number 1 favorite, because it smells heavenly. Really love it, and I'm surprising myself with my choices lately. My palette is opening up with the types of fragrances I love. But number one, Le Bras de Morphee. It's so good. Really, really great. A great fragrance using the orris with violets and all these powdery, musky, and those type of notes together. So those are my thoughts on the House of Hellenist. Have you guys discovered the house yet? Have you caught my video with the owner of Hellenist talking about the brand during Paris Perfume Week? Do let me know. Add a comment below. If you've sampled the fragrances and you fell in love with something, do let me know what that is as well. If you want to discover the fragrances more, I have links to ZGO and Lucky Scent. You can click to the stores and learn about them. Depending on which store is closest to you, you can click on the store that sounds great for you to check out. But otherwise, guys, also if you're on the East Coast, you can check out the fragrances at Stell and Printemps. I've never been to the Printemps store in New York City. It just opened up, I think, earlier this year. And I also would love to check out Stell. So I haven't been to these stores, but the brand is now selling at 4 different locations across the USA. Appreciate you tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click that bell icon and give a thumbs up for this video. See you guys later. Bye-bye.